In 1921, our first superintendent, H. Norman Schwarzkopf, issued General Order No. 1, which established the foundation upon which this division stands. For the past century, New Jersey State Troopers have been guided by the precepts of honor, duty, and fidelity, signified by the stars located in the three corners of our badge. The New Jersey State Police have always adapted to the task presented and will continue to meet every future challenge. As our rich tradition continues to flourish, this program commemorates our proud heritage by connecting those who served in the past with those who currently serve, both of whom make up the proud ranks of the outfit. In the early years of the 20th century, New Jersey was making a limited effort to provide protection for its rural inhabitants. This effort was wholly dependent upon the county sheriff and his constables. Demands for a uniformly well-trained rural police force increased in direct proportion to an increasing population and increasing crime rate. On July 1, 1921, Herbert Norman Schwarzkopf, a graduate of the United States Military Academy at West Point, was appointed as the first superintendent of the state police by Governor Edward I. Edwards. It did not take long for the state police to find plenty of work to do, either enforcing the laws or rendering services to its citizens. Through the 20s, the reputation of the state police continued to grow, and the demand for their services became so great that even working day and night, the force was having a difficult time in keeping up with the rising caseload. By the end of the Great Depression, the New Jersey State Police had grown into one of the most respected police agencies in the nation. The rapid rise in reputation and status of the organization was attributed in great part to the leadership, foresight, and wisdom of its founding superintendent, his capable staff, and the dedicated, tireless efforts of the troopers on the road. As the need for more sophisticated police forensics evolved, the agency created a Central Bureau of Identification, which collected fingerprints, photographed prisoners, and collected and preserved crime scene evidence. The Lindbergh kidnapping case, which occurred on March 1, 1932, was the most celebrated and widely publicized case of the decade, and perhaps in the entire history of the state police. The case received international attention for many years, and finally culminated with the conviction and execution of Bruno Richard Hauptmann on April 3, 1936. The successful conclusion of the Lindbergh case not only involved every member of the New Jersey State Police, but almost every police agency in the United States, as well as police agencies in foreign lands. The result of the Depression caused a substantial cutback in state police manpower and the closing of stations. But the prevention and detection of crime and traffic enforcement was successfully accomplished under these prevailing conditions. The decade of the 1940s began with unsettled world conditions and threatening clouds of war hanging overhead. The U.S. became directly involved in World War II with the infamous attack on Pearl Harbor by Japan on December 7, 1941. Troopers would soon be pulled from their normal duties and assigned many diversified roles. In anticipation of the nation's involvement in the war, the organization had been well prepared for the many new responsibilities which would be undertaken during the conflict. Troopers served as guards at remote locations, safeguarding bridges and other important installations. The installation of the two-way radio in 1942 greatly increased the efficiency of the outfit. Once installed, the radios gave the organization the rapid, effective communications needed to coordinate the many new responsibilities. In 1943, the first issue of the Triangle was printed and disseminated to all enlisted and civilian personnel serving both at home and overseas in the military. It was a way to keep personnel abreast with newsworthy events and happenings of our men serving in the military. A change in traffic enforcement philosophy was also instituted in 1946 with the purchase of 24 conspicuously colored black and white patrol cars with large blue lettering. The vehicles would serve as a visual deterrent to potential violators. Just as the decade of the 1940s began, the close of the decade saw the international situation again deteriorate as the United States began to prepare for yet another war. The 1950s would see the division continue to make great strides, becoming even more diversified with increased duties and responsibilities. The division's role and personnel expanded into new areas, such as enforcement of laws related to liquefied petroleum gas, laws concerning hotel and tenement house safety, the supervision of security forces at state institutions, and state capitol security. The increases in personnel would only temporarily satisfy the new demands placed on the division. In November 1951, a new year would begin with the historic opening of the New Jersey Turnpike. The division would see continued expansion and challenges with problems caused by ever-increasing vehicle traffic on the state's already overburdened highways and the increase in crime in rural areas of the state. A tradition within the organization came to an end in 1954. The motorcycle, which has been used as a patrol vehicle since the inception of the organization, some 33 years earlier, was phased out of existence. In March of 1958, the 53rd class will be the last class to graduate in boots and breeches. The uniform, which was necessary and practical for mounted and cycle patrol, would be replaced by slacks and low-quarter dress shoes. With the era of the 1960s, the complexities of policing the state were compounded. The ever-increasing need for modern methods of police work led to an increase in the professionalism of the organization. In 1964, the division was assigned to one of the largest security details in its history, providing police protection for the Democratic National Convention, which was held in Atlantic City. The absence of the incidents which had plagued the Republican Convention earlier, and the later problems at the 1968 Democratic Convention in Chicago, bolstered the opinion of many who declared it was the best police convention in recent years. The ability to deal with civil and racial disturbances was tested throughout the 60s. During 1967, state police personnel were charged with riot control in the violence-stricken cities of Newark, Camden, and Plainfield. In June 1967, the state police again were tasked with another large security detail. A summit conference in the town of Glassboro, New Jersey, would bring together the two most powerful men in the world, President Lyndon B. Johnson and Premier Alexei S. Kosygin of the Soviet Union, were to meet for the first time to discuss matters of mutual interest. The summit was held on the campus of the State College at Glassboro. With the world watching, the state police again performed its duties in an exemplary manner. The Division of State Police marked their 50th anniversary in 1971. On May 1st of that year, the Academy Dormitory at Seagirt was dedicated in honor of our first superintendent, Colonel H. Norman Schwarzkopf. And on June 12th, a monument honoring the 44 troopers who have died in the line of duty was dedicated by the Association of Former New Jersey State Troopers. As time progressed, new task forces were established, including the Organized Crime Task Force Bureau. In 1975, the traditional black and white troop cars would enter the history books with the boots and breeches and motorcycles. An all-white patrol car would emerge as the principal troop vehicle. In 1976, the oldest tradition still remaining on our road operations would enter the history books. Troopers would no longer live in the barracks as they had since 1921. The pass list was replaced by the 8-hour day. With the advent of casino gambling in Atlantic City in 1978, the division was called upon to play a major role to ensure the compliance and enforcement of the state statutes under the Casino Control Act. More than 100 troopers act as a law enforcement arm for the Division of Gaming Enforcement and the Casino Control Commission. During the fall of 1979, the New Jersey State Police embarked on an experimental program to recruit, select, and train an all-female class in an effort to increase the number of women in the enlisted ranks of the division. In June 1980, 30 women graduated from the first all-female state police class in the nation. Liberty Week in 1986 was the largest and most extensive operation in the history of the state police. 9 days of events to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Statue of Liberty encompassed the use of 1,240 troopers and approximately 10,000 work hours. The new State Police Communications Network became operational in 1987. The modern-day system is a long way from the early year when a red lantern, red light, or red flag would be displayed at signal stops to advise the patrols that there was a message for them. During this decade, increased responsibilities have had a tremendous impact upon the profile of the division and have provided the opportunity for the state police to demonstrate its versatility and proficiency when called to task. The 1990s began with the introduction of the popular DARE project. In this invaluable program, uniformed troopers instruct elementary school children on how pressure to experiment with drugs can be resisted. In October 1992, the New Jersey State Police Museum and Learning Center, located at Division Headquarters, was dedicated and open to the public. The center is partially housed in one of the division's oldest and most historic structures, the log cabin, which was constructed in 1934 and was originally used as a dormitory and classroom for the state police recruit training. From early June through July 13th, the World Cup '94 soccer games were held in Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The World Cup attracted many dignitaries from around the world, and security for all these dignitaries was provided by the State Police of New Jersey, in conjunction with the United States Secret Service and the Department of State. The year 1996 marked the 75th diamond anniversary of the New Jersey State Police and included many events, such as the reenactment of the first patrol of New Jersey State Troopers at Trenton's Masonic Temple. This ceremony, which originally took place on December 5, 1921, was the beginning to a year of special events commemorating the division's 75-year history. On September 11, 2001, the Jersey State Troopers gathered with other leaders in a barren room in the FBI's Newark office. The assembling group unfolded tables, plugged in computers, and installed phone lines so that they could coordinate a response to the horrific attack on the World Trade Center. We've come a long way since that day with the creation of The Rock, an online 24-hour-a-day center supporting everything from local police officers to federal law enforcement partners. The Rock has the capability to be the place where state leaders direct a major crisis in the state, from natural disasters to a terrorist strike. The age of information sharing has had a defining effect on the division and will continue to change the way the state police protect the public. Today, the state police continues its dedication to excellence in public safety through world-class law enforcement. As we stand at the threshold of a new era, the division remains the most diversified state police organization in the nation. Our state-of-the-art operation employs the most sophisticated crime prevention and detection techniques available. Our commitment to the ideals of proper law enforcement has continued unabated as we span the decades and will continue into the 21st century.